Are you looking for superior strategies that will win you wars and leave the server crying over the game? These tactics are literally strong, but a majority of players don't even use them. Likely because these methods are too sinister and nefarious for people to even comprehend. I'll show you how to make use of these strategies to take people's souls and dominate not only by landmass, but in literally any other way possible. If you want to understand the best ways to effectively capture one's essence and destroy people's self-esteem because you don't care about moral boundaries, since all you seek is to dominate the game and bring shame to every other country, then you've come to the right place. Let's start with some basic tactics. Although these should be well known, a surprising amount of people overlook and neglect these methods, which is probably why they get destroyed 5 minutes in. These basic strategies are building factories, making generals, using research, and training troops. These are basic strategies that are easy to do. If you still struggle doing them, no one can help you. Now that we've established the basic strategies that everyone should know, I'll show you strategies that can literally change the fate of the game and give you an extra edge over opposing players. Fortifications are a must-have when it comes to defending against another nation. Forts are great because they provide extra defense for any troops that are on the same city as it. The cost depends on the city's population, but it can be extremely powerful if your units are strong and entrenched. If your economy isn't that great, don't spam fortifications because they will sap out your money. Place these forts in important cities like your capital, cities with factories, or cities with high population. If used correctly, fortifications can make your country as impenetrable as a Nokia phone. However, some Nokia phones can be broken. If you see another player using fortifications, here's what you should do. Bring artillery nearby and use attackers to deal extra damage to the fortified units. Once their troops are low enough, you can finally capture the city with the expense of less people. Forts are great for defense, but there's another cheap and easy way to increase your troops' defensive damage, and that is entrenchment is a basic yet effective method to gain defensive damage against enemy ground units. Entrenched forces have the potential to decimate twice the amount of troops that they have. Entrenching is simple, just keep a unit at the same spot and the entrenchment bar will increase. Max entrenched units can be deadly if your opponent is naive. However, other players can utilize this as well. But despite their efforts, you can counter them by using the same methods that destroys fortified units. While entrenching can be useful, sometimes you need to be able to transport your units quickly, especially through rough terrain. In this case, you need to make roads. Although they can be expensive in long distance, roads can effectively transport your units through different areas by doubling their speed. If you ever need quick backup, roads are the way to go. Speaking of roads, I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers. You should definitely join this road by clicking on a familiar red button. It literally takes just one click. Do it now. Now that most people with short attention spans have disappeared and left this video, I'll show you much more effective strategies that'll bring you to the top of the server and will literally make you a menace to society. If you want to really join the top 1% of Rise of Nations players, then listen very closely. Sometimes people will invade their opponents in the normal traditional fashion, make troops, put them at the border, and capture. However, if you want to brutally stun your opponents and leave them crying for their mommy, then as you can probably tell, you'll be surprising them with a dangerous and diabolical army. Save your napkins for later because you'll need it for your enemies. Making a surprise army is simple. Make normal and unqualified units and bring them to the closest borders that you have with your opponent. Afterwards, your skilled and competent men will be created and put together in an area that your opponent likely won't see unless they have slightly above average eyes. If that's the case, just bring these units far away from the enemy's land so the numbers are out of sight. Once you declare war, use your normal army to repel any advances that your enemy will make. This will lead out their manpower and allow you to sneak your surprise army in another front. Most people are unprepared because they always take everything at face value. Not only does this method bamboozle your enemy to death, it can also slightly prepare you for a surprise invasion from another country. So instead of using your surprise army on the first opponent, you can use it on the one that just declared. However, sometimes you want to turn democratic or communist, but are impatient when it comes to waiting for 500 political power. This is where the next strategy comes in. Yes, that's right. You can skip centuries of wait time to turn democratic and communist, and it's surprisingly simple as well. This process still requires some time and a few brain cells but is nothing compared to the original time that you need to wait. In order to do this, simply justify on North Korea or Japan. But instead of doing an annexation war, do a subjugation war. Once you declare, take over the whole country and head to the peace treaty section. Go on concede terms, select enforce party ideology and you will finally become a better version of yourself. You can now enjoy the perks of being communist or democratic without wasting time like most other incompetent rise of nations individuals. You can now also feast your eyes on a hideous method that will take advantage of unintelligent people for monetary gain. I'm talking about the art of deceptive trade deals. Here's how it works. You get a certain resource that you want to sell to other players, and sell it at low amounts. If you think we're gonna be selling them like a normal person, then you might as well stay at everyone else's cognitive level. Instead of using 10% of the trade section, you'll be putting this to its full potential by using this little section here. It may seem unknown to the majority of players because literally no one uses it. What this does is that you simply change the value of a unit, so you can gain more or less money based on what you put in here. Now, sell a low amount of your resource with the value modifier being the scale of how much you want to watch them suffer. Or if you want to put trade deception to another level, put the amount and value modifier as the same number so it's more disguised. Proceed to sell these to every player in the server and you will notice that some elementary schoolers will fall for it. However, if there is a slightly intelligent specimen in your server then it won't work on them because they have the ability to read. Now you can relax with all the money that you used to exploit children in a block game. But what I'm about to show you next doesn't even come close to being as devious and diabolical as the method I just told you about. This method is literally one of the most evil discoveries that I'm at risk of being behind bars because of it. The method I'm talking to you about is... Hear me out, this method has the ability to paralyze any poor victim and can likely scare them so much that they quit Roblox for the next 5 minutes. How it works, you use your social skills to convince another player to type "I love you" in the chat. If they're foolish enough to fall for this, they will be blinded for the rest of the gameplay session by a sweet and lovely clown, leaving room for you to unleash all your hatred towards the player by invading them with zero resistance. This method is so dangerous that I wouldn't be telling you this if it wasn't already removed by HyperInt. Very tragic. But if you've seen enough and want to capture the souls of many people, then try these methods out. Otherwise, watch this video here.